We're live, Maxwell. What?
All right, we are live, ready to go on this cool and cloudy Tuesday morning.
Good morning.
And I've got Cole with me, and I've got Maxwell with me.
And we got a new one.
And we have a puppy with us today, too.
Yeah, because it's a
We'll see how that goes. That could be fun and different.
We show them now?
Yes, we can show, while we're waiting for people to join, we can show our new friend.
Aww.
This is our new cooking partner. We're figuring out how to cook for her, too.
Aww.
Maybe we'll do one on dog treats soon.
Oh, yeah. I actually have seen some of those floating around the internet, like peanut butter.
Go play over there.
Nobody's
Okay. So we have a couple people joining us. We're just waiting. Good morning to Lydia. Nice to see you. No, we did already. Hi, Margot. Hi, Margot. How are you? It's been a little while.
You don't see the dog right now, but you're going to see it. Maybe Cole.
She'll come back because she'll hear us cooking, Margot, and then we'll say hi to her. And Tammy and Cora are here.
She
Good
loves
morning.
the smell of Nutella and like everything.
She does like all the new smells. Good morning, everybody. So as a reminder, our schedule is going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I'm sorry if there was any confusion yesterday, but we're going to reduce it slightly and kind of try to add some other options for online engagement. But we are Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 11 o'clock. And Lydia wants to know what our new puppy's name is. Anybody want to share?
I'll say.
Ella wants to share.
Her name is Bree.
Her name is Bree. Or Maxwell says Brienne. Her name is
And Cheesy Butt.
Oh, Cole likes cheese.
Well, I was thinking about that. Brie is like a type of cheese, and it's.
I know. Well, her name was Brienne at the shelter, and we decided to kind of keep that and just go with Brie. Yeah, Lydia, I think dog treats would be fun. We'll have to kind of look into that a bit. And we have Olivia here as well. So I think we could probably go ahead and get started. We are going to get our oven. Cole, can you find a spot right over there? Figure out which bowl you want to be in. The big bowl for you? All right.
Today we are making chocolate-covered eggs.
No, we're not making chocolate-covered eggs. I'm going to put up a banner. We're going to get our oven preheated. Laura, I preheat mine to 375 for these. Is that what you do?
I think I had 350, but I'm sure that either would work. It's just going to go a little faster at 375.
Yeah. You can play that in the other room, or you can be in here. Okay, so we're going to make today.
Chocolate-covered bananas.
No.
Covered everything. We the point.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and say what we're going to make. Okay. Listen now.
I think you said chocolate-covered.
No, we're going to be making muffin tin frittatas. So it's similar to making a frittata that you put in a larger one. It's like a baked egg. And remember, we take them out and they're like in these little muffin shapes. Before, and so the nice thing about these is that they cook quicker, and you can save them, stick them in your fridge, and just heat them up in the morning. So it's a great thing to make like a dozen of them, and then have them in the mornings. For just a really quick heat up breakfast. And so I figured we'd go ahead and get our frittatas going, and then we will talk a little bit about how to decode your egg package. I thought we could talk a little bit about what all the different things on our packages mean.
Do I see the dog?
No, you can go play, or do you want to stay and do this one?
Yes.
Okay, great. So for making muffin tin frittatas, it's
We're
about
gonna eat this because we don't want it to stick.
That's right. Good tip. You use about 1 egg per muffin section.
There's a lot of cheese.
If you like cheese. Okay, I'm gonna ask you to hold on for just a second, okay? So we're gonna add 1 egg for each tin. So if you're making with kids, if you want them to make just 1 section, you just have them crack 1 egg, and they can do either 1 at a time if they want them all to be different. Or you can have them crack a couple of eggs, and if they want them all to be the same. And I'm going to give a little bit of a tip here. So in our classes, we use a muffin tin like this, and we make a mark on our tin, here's a heart that's really faded now because we've had it here for a while. We make a mark so that we can map out our muffin tins. And so the next thing I would do, Cole, would you do me a favor? Do you want to draw on here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Can you make 12 circles just like that in rows of 3?
Yeah.
So how many rows of 3 do you need if you have 12 circles?
4.
Yeah, that's correct. We need 4 rows of 3. We got a little bit of math going. So Cole's going to make 4 rows of 3. It's actually what he was doing in his math class this morning, right, Cole? Did you realize that it was actually going to be real life this quickly? So what we do is we make a little map. So we draw all the circles, and then we make a little mark where the heart is or where the sticker is on your pan. And then as you add your kids' muffin or eggs to their sections, you can mark which ones are there so that when they come out of the oven, they get the one that they created. Ella, what are you going to put in your muffin tin in yours today? So some options for what you're going to put in your muffin. So again, 1 egg per section, and then you can add cheese if you want to add cheese. I have some mushrooms here from Seacoast Mushrooms. If you're local and you don't know Seacoast Mushrooms, can you grab me that pen? Highly recommend checking them out. We ordered them from Full Heart Farm, which is in Ledyard. And he grows all kinds of mushrooms here in Stonington, and they're really amazing.
Bree is right here.
We got Bree with us here. So you can see I made my heart right there in the corner. And as we fill our muffin tin, we'll make a name. So for example, let's say Ella. Ella, you're going to be the one closest to the heart today.
Yeah.
We just put a name on the one that she filled. And that way when we go to take them out of the oven, we know whose are who. Okay. So when you go ahead and make your muffin tins, you can you add your egg, you crack your egg into your bowl. You can add a little bit of milk or cream or water, and then we can grate some cheese. So I have some cheddar cheese. We have some mozzarella cheese here if we wanted to cut those into chunks. I have cheddar slices, which can be easily broken up. I have some Parmesan cheese here. I also have some herbs from outside. So I have some chives, some thyme, and some oregano. And this is a great time to use that wild garlic that you might be seeing outside right now. And so what you're going to do is kind of get everything ready to go in terms of what you're going to put into your frittata. And then once you're ready, you crack your egg, you mix in all of the spices and ingredients that you want to add in, and then you add it to your muffin tin. So, Cole, what do you think you want in your egg today? You want some herbs?
Well, I'll have some mochi cheese.
Some mochi cheese?
I'll have all the seasons.
Okay, 3 cheese omelet, 3 cheese frittata?
Yeah.
Okay, so Cole's gonna do all cheeses. Clay, can you do me a big favor? Can you grab me scissors from in the other room? So I wanted to show a couple of tricks for getting your herbs ready. So we've got thyme, and I want to show you 2 things. One is the really quick way to get thyme off of the stem, which is to go the opposite direction from which it's growing and just pull it like you're stripping it right off. So we all probably know that trick.
Scissors up.
Thank you. But if you are with little kids and you need some time to, let's say, you see that joke, time? If you need some extra time to get your ingredients ready, you can ask them to take them off leaf by leaf. And it takes up a lot of time. And it's a nice fine motor skill for kids to work on. So you can get your herbs ready. You can get your, I have some oregano here that just started to grow back this year. And with the oregano, I might suggest giving it a quick chop.
You don't need to sit up here. You can stand on that. Or you know what?
With the chives, I like to give kids a scissor. So you're going to come over here, Elle, and cut them. I like to give kids scissors to practice cutting. Chives are really fun to cut with scissors.
I want you to cut those up with
So I'm getting our thyme ready here. We'll give that a quick chop. Got our herbs. Okay. I think that's probably enough. And I'll move that over. So I'll go ahead and cut that. And then Cole said he wanted a little bit of the mozzarella cheese. So you could grate it.
How grating. I love
You want to do some grating? Why don't you grate some cheddar cheese?
Yeah, that's what I'm good at.
Okay, so Cole's going to do a little bit of cheese grating there. Ella's working on getting the chives chopped, and it sounds like Marin's going to put some ham in. Ham is great for tatas. With an egg? I don't know about pineapple and eggs. Maybe we could try it. So there's some. Are you going to put mozzarella cheese in? Oh, Cole, I'm sorry. We got all our herbs there, so you got to watch where you're. There we go. Okay, and then if you're going to use something like mushrooms or onions, you might want to give it a little cook in the oven first. So we're on the stovetop, I should say, and just saute it a bit. Good, Cole. I think we've got enough there. Thank you.
Oh my.
So now we have some grated cheese here. Put that. And this, remember, this is called that mise en place, where you're getting everything ready beforehand. So are you gonna put mushrooms in yours, Al? Yeah, I'm gonna put some mushrooms in mine. So you might want to get your mushrooms sauteed just a bit. Just so they're a little bit softer. Cole, are you gonna put mushrooms in yours?
I want to taste them to see if they're good, to see if I want to.
Okay, we're gonna do a little taste test on the mushrooms first, I guess. What do you think? I'm gonna cut a little bit of red onion for mine too.
Oh, I might add some red
Are you ready to cut that up for
onion.
you?
Let me taste the red onion first.
You want to taste some red onion?
I need to taste everything.
You want to taste the mushroom?
I don't like mushroom. I'll have the mushroom. I'll have like a few mushrooms.
You want some mushrooms
I
in
need
yours?
to taste everything to see if it's good.
All right.
To see if
So you want to get all your ingredients ready to go.
Use the hand.
And then once your ingredients are ready, you can go ahead and crack your eggs.
Jen, when I looked back on the recipe that we had used in class, a little bit of flour.
Yeah, I saw you put that on the Instagram. I've never put flour in mine. I'm sure you could, but I'm not sure what the purpose of that would be. So I don't put flour in mine. I just go real simple. Sometimes I don't even put the milk.
Oh, I like that.
The milk just makes it a little fluffier,
Yeah, I'll have
but
the
it's
red
not
onions
absolutely
too.
necessary.
No, I'll have the red onions.
Okay, you're having some red onions. So let me cut a little bit more. So I'm going to get my red onions ready.
Yes, we do.
Maxwell, what are you going to put in your eggs today?
It's going to be a very bad one.
Well, what do you think? 2? Let's start with 2.
We can always make more.
We can always make more. They don't take very long at all. Okay, so Cole, are you ready to crack some eggs?
Yes. No. Can I crack mine? I don't like washing my hands.
Okay, Ella's gonna crack eggs. So I have some lovely eggs from Stone Acres Farm. So Marin, you're gonna use 1 egg per spot on your muffin tin pan. So if you want to have them each be different.
The mushrooms are delicious.
I know, they're so good, right?
Am I being good?
Yeah. If you want,
Mom, am I being good?
yes. If you want if you want each muffin section to be different, crack 1 egg, mix it up with a little bit of cream, like let's say a teaspoon or a tablespoon of cream, and the ingredients that you want to add to it, and then do it again and again and again. If you want to just do it all at once and they're all the same, crack as many eggs as you are going to fill. So if you're going to do 6, crack 6 eggs. If you're going to do a full dozen, you want to do a dozen eggs there. And then you just add your ingredients to your bowl and then start to pour them in evenly into your muffin tin. While my mushrooms and my onions are sauteing a little bit, I'm just going to go ahead and spray my tin. And here's the thing. These eggs do stick, so if you don't have a spray,
I told you.
Make sure you put enough oil on it. But the thing that works the best for me has always been the cooking spray, and we've tried a couple different options there. Cole, so you don't want to crack?
It smells like that thing that you put to shave your beard.
Oh yeah, it sounds like that. Okay, Elle, you ready to crack some eggs? Okay. So Ella's got our herbs ready here. We've got chives and thyme and a little bit of oregano. We've got some cheddar cheese and mozzarella cheese. And I like to make I like meals like this where we make options for kids to kind of put stuff together. So it's all eating the same meal, but we can figure out which things we want to add. And other things that we do like that are we often do that with like sushi rice. So we'll make some sushi rice, and then we'll make some like sliced cucumbers, maybe a scrambled egg. We'll make some we'll cut up some carrots, and kids can kind of put their own sushi bowls together. So again, everybody's sort of eating the same meal, but doing it at their own pace. Whoops.
You gotta have other people.
We're gonna have a plain version over here with just.
And Olivia asked if these were regular size tins. These are regular size muffin tins, so not the mini size. Okay, Alf, I think you're ready to go ahead and crack your eggs. So why don't you do 2 eggs in there, and I'll do 2 eggs for Cole in here. There you go. And then the trick for cracking eggs. They are hard. I think they're just good eggs. The trick for cracking eggs with kids, we make a little sort of a line right there. We have them put their thumbs into that and pull it apart and dump the egg out.
No, don't run. Don't.
So, Cole, what do you want in yours again?
Everything except the herbs.
Okay, so I've cracked your eggs. Why don't you come and put everything in now, okay? Cole, you want to assemble yours?
We're gonna be happy when it's all ready.
The mushrooms. Oh, love them.
So I've got our mushrooms cooked up here. And come over here. So here's your eggs. So go ahead and take your fork. Wait, I'll put them in. They're a little hot. Go ahead and use your fork to stir that up and get them nice and stirred. And I'm going to pour in just a little bit of milk.
I like squishing the yolk.
It's going to make them nice and fluffy.
No, you can't tell us right now.
So Marin, the question on milk, I would say like about a teaspoon to a tablespoon of milk for 2 eggs. I mean, it's like making scrambled eggs. You can do it totally without the milk. So like it's really up to you. I added a dash. Like I would say I added about a tablespoon of milk for 2 eggs. So maybe a teaspoon of milk for 1.
The milk add like fluffiness? Is that?
Yeah, it just makes it a little fluffier. Exactly.
All right.
And a little bigger too. Okay. So once you've got your eggs mixed up there, and maybe I'll get a bowl for myself. I'm going to do 1 plain because I know Maxwell's going to want it plain. Oh, the other thing I would add, by the way, is a little bit of salt or pepper or both. So for the salt, I would just do a dash of salt.
Yeah, I want salt.
Okay.
Just a little. I want a lot.
So we're doing a pinch of salt.
I want to taste one of the
Put some salt here for later.
Yeah, can you taste one of the mushrooms? Yeah, they're so good when they're roasted.
Yes. I can cook up some more mushrooms. My kids adore mushrooms, which I love.
Great.
And especially the mushrooms from Chris, which are so fresh and delicious. All right, so Maxwell, I'm just going to do 1 egg with a little bit of salt because I don't think he's going to want. Maxwell, do you want cheese in yours? No cheese in it. So we're just going to make a totally plain one for him right here.
He wants mushrooms.
He didn't. So I'm going to add Maxwell. So I have to write Maxwell's name on his map. So he's the one farthest from this. Okay, so that's Maxwell.
Well, how'd you get all those bubbles? The bubbles are cool.
Okay. Now, you guys, did you eat all the mushrooms or are you going to add them to your...
I'm going to eat them.
I don't think that mushrooms are going to make it into the
Can I just
frittata pan.
No.
Do you guys want them in your frittata or no?
You're losing it.
So go ahead and put some in yours. So ours did not make it into they ate all the mushrooms before we could get them into our frittata.
I want them.
Cole's going to add a few. All right, I'm going to go ahead and make mine here. I was going to add some too, but I don't think I'm going to get to them. Should I cook more up?
Yeah, and can we eat like half of them?
All right. Let me get some more mushrooms and
Can you make like a whole batch so we can eat some? With the
Yeah,
onion. With the onion.
Mom, I don't want mushrooms. I don't want mushrooms.
Okay.
Put the mushrooms in.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. You can have those in there.
I don't want this. Where can I put it?
You can put it right back in the bowl.
No, there's egg on it.
Oh, then give it to me.
I
And I'll
don't
put it right
want
over.
any of them that went into.
You don't want them in your frittata?
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead. You can give them to me. I'll take them. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and cook up a few more. And I'm curious. Oh yeah, Olivia, those mushrooms, the seacoast mushrooms, are so wonderful. And these are the shiitake, but he also grows the maitake mushrooms. Sometimes we have those. It sort of depends on what he has available. And also the oyster mushrooms. He does these beautiful blue oysters. And doesn't he do yellow ones too, El? Do you remember ever having those?
Can you make a lot so you can eat that?
Yeah, I can also make more after we're finished with our class.
Can I add some of these?
Yeah, so you go ahead and get yours all doctored up with all the things that you want.
Mom.
Yeah.
Oh, you're adding the cheese. Am I doing good?
Yeah.
You're doing so good. But if you want to play on the phone, you got to go into the other room.
Yes, that is a good trick. Yes.
All right, so I'm getting some more mushrooms going. And I'm curious how everybody else is doing. Once you have your muffin, can you give me a few? I would like a few tries. But if you want to use them all, that's fine. I'm going to add some time to mine too.
Here's your chives.
Great. All right, I'm going to go a little bit more on the mushrooms here. And Laura, that's looking pretty good there.
Yeah, so we have one plain egg and cheese for half the family, and one sausage and green onion and cheese for the other. Pretty excited about this because
You're welcome. That sounds really good. It's so funny. I can't seem to cut these. You're gonna add mozzie? Chloe, you gonna add mozzie to yours?
Yes, added everything.
Okay. Do you need me to cut some more with a mozzie cheese for you?
leave those plain.
We can't wait. Not so much.
Oh, yeah.
Well, just so that you can leave some for everybody else. Okay. We can't seem to cut those mushrooms fast enough. Everything's going into those. Okay, Paul, you want some more? You want some of the mozzie cheese here?
Thank you.
And I think I'm going to do a little bit of Parmesan cheese in mine.
I want Parmesan cheese.
You want some Parmesan
I
cheese?
put cheddar and mozzie.
Cheddar and mozzie. Okay, so we're adding some Parmesan cheese.
Are we not shredding the mozzie, or are we just cubing?
You can keep it cubes. It's kind of fun. You can shred it, but you can, if you cube it, it makes for like just chunkier and like melty cheese.
Yeah.
I love these with goat cheese. We don't have any goat cheese, but these are really delicious with goat cheese.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think we often do goat cheese. I have cheddar today, which is I think really good.
Which will be delicious, yeah. So I'm gonna do Parmesan. I'm gonna add my all the herbs here. And I'm gonna, if I can get those onions into mine before the kids eat them, then I'm gonna add some onions and
No, we're not eating.
and mushrooms as well.
Can you just add a few so we can?
Yes.
Where's the
Yes. Okay. So Cole, are you ready to put yours in the pan?
yeah.
All right. So just soften those up a little bit. Okay. So Cole, I'm gonna put you in row 2. I'm gonna get you on the map here, Cole. Cole. So again, we've mapped out who's going where so that we know. Obviously, you don't have to do that if everybody's sharing. So Marin, the recipe that we used calls for flour. I actually never put flour in mine, so I'm not 100% sure how that works or why that would go in.
Well, I think it's just like a binder, you know, like it thickens it perhaps, and maybe helps the other thing I could think of is like it helps the ingredients stay suspended in the egg if it's thicker. So that you don't sink.
That's probably true. Kind of like when you use
Can I make tears or not?
sure. Kind of like when you add blueberries to like a blueberry muffin. If you coat them like the frozen ones with flour, it keeps them towards the top as opposed to sinking all the way to the bottom. So that's probably true.
Yeah, the flavor might change the texture a little bit. I did 8 eggs and added a tablespoon of flour. So yeah, if you're doing just a few eggs, I would say just a little, like a half teaspoon of flour is probably enough.
All right. So Cole walked away, which meant that I was able to steal some of the mushrooms, but Ella's going to get the rest. All right. So Elle, are you ready to put yours in there? Okay. So Ella's going to take the first 2 sections by the heart.
Yeah, you got one.
All right. There's Ellis. And then I'm going to
Only
take,
one with the times.
right. Can you add mom to the one next to Cole and under Maxwell? And then I'll do the one right under that one as well.
How many did you make?
I made 2 for me.
Mom, and then this one?
Let's do this one here. Okay. So,
Like portions it automatically, and it also cooks faster. So it's kind of like a win-win.
yeah. So here's mine ready to go in the oven. And, you know, I say 18 to 20 minutes, but what you're looking for, and this is again, you know, that going back to sort of like the basics of recipe writing, you write the time, but also you write the, what you should look for, or until the eggs are set. You know, so if your oven's really hot, it may cook a little faster than 18 minutes. But basically, you're going to kind of like shake the tray, and if it doesn't shake, and if the top is nice and smooth, then your eggs are done.
Right.
So that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, and they, you can imagine, you know, they continue to cook just a bit as they're cooling as well. So if they look firm in the oven, you're going to be fine.
Exactly. So can you go and sit right over there for just a second? I'm going to sit down for a second because I want to talk through some of the basics of eggs, because I actually went to see the chickens on our farm the other day, and I thought I would share what some of the different labels on an egg carton actually mean. So this is the carton from Stone Acres, and this actually has no information on it. And that's because we know, and the people who are buying from Stone Acres kind of know what the chickens are doing there. So I'm going to add a banner here called pasture raised. Whoops, not pasture.
Oh boy.
Okay. So the eggs, the chickens at Stone Acres Farm are raised out on the pasture, which means that they are out in the fields. They go out, they're let out every morning from where they sleep. They like to sleep inside like a chicken coop, or in this case, we call them the egg mobile. They're these like coops that are on wheels. And in the morning, the doors are open, the chickens run out, and they go all over the pasture, and they eat the bugs and the worms, and they eat the weeds and the seeds. They basically eat whatever is out in the field, because chickens are omnivores. They actually need a varied diet, and the more varied their diet is, the more nutritious their eggs are, because the more nutrients they're ingesting. So pasture-raised eggs tend to be more nutrient-rich. It also means that the chickens are really happy because they're outside, and because they're usually eating a varied diet. Now, our chickens are not just pasture raised, but they're also rotated, which means that they move around the farm. And that's because if they stay in the same spot for too long, eventually they just run out of food. And so you end up having to feed grain, and you have chickens that are happy and outdoors, but they're actually not getting that varied diet. And the other reason is that the chickens actually add nutrients to the soil. So every time they poop, they're pooping out nutrients. It's going right into the soil. So if we give them like leftover greens or carrot tops, they're eating that. They're getting all that nutrient, and then they're pooping it into the soil. And if you leave them in the same spot for too long, it actually adds too many nutrients. So every like 3 or 4 days, before the farmers open up the coops in the morning, where they live, they're like in this little house. Before they open the door and the chickens run out, they actually move it from one section to a whole nother section. They attach it to a tractor, they move it to a new section, they put the fencing up around that new section, then they let the chickens out. They have brand new food, they have all the sorts of new bugs and worms to find. They get to scratch the soil, and they add nutrients. So it actually is really helpful for our farmer. They usually put it in a field that's just been harvested, or a field that they're just about to plant, to make sure it has lots of nutrients. Okay, so let's see what labels are on this carton. So this one says strictly fresh. Good. And it also says packed in Rhode Island. Doesn't say where the chickens are. And that's kind of it on this one. So we don't get a lot of information on this one either. But you might see on your eggs, you might see something where it says free range or cage free. So let me tell you a little bit about what that means. And if you see anything on your eggs that you'd like me to describe, I can let you know. So free range or cage free. So that would mean that the chickens are not kept in a cage. It might mean that they're still in like a large enclosed like factory building, but within that building, they're not in a tiny little cage by themselves. So now you could have hundreds and hundreds of chickens all packed into a small building. We're good, Laura, by the way. They might be packed into the small building, but not held in a cage. And then free range only means that they're able to, that they have like a small door, let's say at the far end of that building, there might be a small door that they can go out of. And typically in that situation, they never actually get outside. It just means that they have the option, but technically it's the same as cage free. So cage free and free range can often mean the same thing. You might see on a label that says only vegetarian diet, which is kind of interesting because chickens are omnivores. So what I think that typically means is you know that it's getting no meat byproducts. But the labels on your eggs are kind of fascinating because there's just so much on there often, and it can be kind of confusing to know what you should or shouldn't be looking for. Stoneacre's eggs are brown, and it's just that different breeds of chickens lay different color eggs. That's the only difference. So it's not like brown eggs are better than white eggs, or blue eggs are better than white eggs. They're all just some chickens lay bluish or grayish eggs. Yeah. And so there's no egg that's better or worse based on the color. It's just the breed. So we raise at Stoneacres Farm, Rhode Island Red is the name of the chickens, and they lay brown eggs. And the way that you can tell what kind of eggs they're going to lay is their ears. The color of their ears will tell you brown eggs or white eggs.
Yeah, that's a fun fact, and something next time you go somewhere where they have chickens, you definitely challenge yourselves to see if you can figure it out. You have to look very closely, but it's true. I thought that was funny when I learned that.
But when you're choosing eggs at the grocery store, the things to look for are, cage-free, free-range, pasture-raised. Those are sort of like the biggest labels, where pasture-raised is the one that you can with the most certainty, you can sort of gather that they're outdoors, that the chickens have been outdoors. Free-range or cage-free, you have no idea. But pasture-raised will mean that they do have to be out on a pasture for some part of their life, which is a good label. And an even better thing to look for is farms locally that are growing eggs, where you can actually ask the farmer how they raise their chickens and how they take care of them, because that's how you're really going to know whether your eggs have the most nutrients and whether the chickens are really well cared for and happy. And the last thing I would say about eggs is just the cost of them. A lot of times we'll see eggs at a farmer's market for $5, $6, $7, $8 a dozen. And it's so interesting because I always sort of think about how that can sometimes seem really expensive, especially when you can get like $2 for a dozen eggs. But when you really think about it, the amount of meals that you can make out of an egg, like one egg is less than $1, and it's like lunch for your kid or breakfast for your kid. It does actually have, this interesting value. And something that when we started really thinking about where our food came from, it was one of the first things that we started to really focus on is our eggs and the quality of our eggs, because it seemed achievable to be able to spend just a little bit more on eggs, whereas some other products can be more daunting in terms of the expense.
Totally agree. When you think also about the work that goes into caring for chickens in the way we described, of course, the farmer needs to be compensated for all of that time it takes. I think they get up before dawn to move the coop, from place to place, and so all that effort and work that other operations aren't doing. They're just letting them stay in the same place in a cage or in a large warehouse, and so you can buy those eggs cheaper, but at what cost? So the expense that comes with sort of a really well-raised chicken and the eggs that come from it really come down to the farmer's time
and the infrastructure to grow them. So I'm going to pull my muffins out. So mine aren't ready, but I just want to kind of show you if I can be helpful in showing how you can tell. I know I'm not going to drop them, I promise. I just want to make sure I have them firmly held here. So you can see, maybe you can see. I'm going to see if I can put them down for just a second. And I'm going to grab, because some of them, some of my eggs are almost done and some are not quite done. I'm just going to grab a.
Right. This is the one challenge that we face when we make this on the farm is making sure that each muffin tin has the same amount in it, because the one that's smaller.
And it could depend on whether you've added milk. And I just realized that I totally forgot to add milk to mine, which is why I think they're cooking faster. So mine are almost done.
All right.
And I don't know if you can see how they're wiggly. That's how you know they're not done yet. And so mine are all kind of wiggly, although some a little less so than others. Yes, those are yours. Oh, you put a lot of pepper in it. So I'm going to put them back in. And what's going to happen also, one of the things I just will mention. I'm not sure that's a label that really means all that much, to be honest.
What if it's grade C?
I've never seen it.
Or what if it's grade F?
I don't know. One of the things that you'll notice that will happen with the eggs is that they're going to rise and get really puffy right before you take them out. And then when you take them out, they kind of deflate a little bit. And that's totally normal. But that was something that surprised me the first couple times I made them as well.
Right. Like, oh God, it's going to be a big mess. But no, they'll shrink back down.
Yeah.
If you just sort of like run a knife I would say a butter knife around the side of the cup, and then they'll pop out pretty easily. And I'm going to serve it with a salad for myself and my husband, who's home. Home, and the kids will probably have it with toast. So
yeah, and I've even done it to make it into like an egg sandwich. So you can slice them in half, add them to your toast.
Like if you go to like New York and you get
like a good egg sandwich. You could add a little bacon on the top there and make a nice egg sandwich, and it's all ready to go. So it's a really nice option. So continue to cook until they're set and they're not shaky. Take them out and enjoy them right away. Can't wait to see everybody's pictures and to see what you added to yours. How are you doing over there, Laura?
We're good. I think I need another 4 minutes or so on mine.
Yeah.
But they're really good.
Mine too. All right. Well, we'll see pictures of them online. Send them to our Instagram.
I will disinfect everything that Margot flung eggs over in the last 20 minutes.
I love it.
I'm going to need a spa day at the end of this.
I know. Oh, I like hashtag Frittata time. Yeah, we'll send them hashtag Frittata time. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow.